let's talk about where you're currently at. So you did the golden era split, the Arnold split, chest, back, shoulders, arms, legs, repeat, 6 days a week. You've done full body 3 days a week. So where are you currently right now with your training? Let's dive into the split, and then we'll dive into the volume, the frequency, the intensity.
All right. So currently I'm doing an upper lower split. So I'm doing upper, lower, upper, lower. And then when I finish this, I do a little full body because I still miss it. And out of pure enjoyment of certain exercise that I can't put in my regular upper lower, I do this full body to put them in. So for example, I love Bulgarian split squat, but I can't find a way to make them work in my lower without seriously keeping me from progressing on other lift. And I like to progress on this lift too. But if I do it in second, after squat, for example, my strength and capacity just plummet. Like I lose. I'm currently able to do 3 plates on the Bulgarian split squat in the Smith machine for reps. If I do them as a second exercise after squat, just 2 plates is a challenge because I can go hard on squat. And same thing with deadlift. You know, if I do deadlift first, like some deadlift variation, I go on Bulgarian split squat afterward and my glutes are basically done. So it's all quad, and quads being extra strong is great, but quads and glutes are even stronger, right? So it's the same thing, like I'm losing something. So I do upper, lower, that full body. Compared to the rest day, when I did this Carlos interview, so it's been 1.5 years, I believe already, I said I was doing exactly the same thing and I was taking a rest day every time. So upper, rest, lower, rest, etc., etc. So it was a 10-day cycle. Nowadays, there are things that have changed that allow me to go even harder and more intense. And right now, currently, there are sometimes, most of the time, I'm actually taking 2 rest days. So actually, right now, per week, I'm just training thrice and it's still upper, lower. So there are weeks where it will be upper, lower, upper. And then the other week will be lower, full body, upper. And then you keep on with the cycle. So it increases even more the length, which is now 12 days on average. But I've seen no heel effects, except that now I recover much better. And that on my blood work, were sometimes very weird, especially the liver enzyme. They were very elevated for someone that is not using gears or taking any kind of treatment with meds or anti-inflammatory drugs, right? Sometimes they were very elevated. And of course, as a strength athlete, you're supposed to have some stuff that are different from a sedentary, right? But still, sometimes the doctor will like, just be careful. Now my liver enzyme are perfect. They're in check now. And I'm pretty sure it's because I'm just allowing my whole body much more time to recover, and my training being way lower volume and much more focused on just the performance, even if it's just 1 rep, or we're doing the exact same thing, but just better. It's like, I think overall, I can withstand it better and it can work better. And as a token or proof of that, I keep getting stronger. I keep getting bigger. Like my arms, for example, they were 17 inches something. Now they are close to 18 inches, something that I've never thought I could actually achieve, except with like extreme bulking, you know, or even PEDs. There is that, there is the neck, it keeps growing. There is the chest, there is the back. Everything just keeps growing and growing, but I train less and less.
That's encouraging, first and foremost, for those listening as well who think that they need to be in the gym every day to see progress and make great gains, right? But also a few different things. The lower body day, that's strictly lower body. There is no upper body on that day except neck, right? You just do some neck on that day as well?
Yeah, neck and traps. Yeah, there is one lower body. I will do some shrugs because there is no way I'm doing heavy ass shrugs on the upper.
Got it. Okay. And then also, have you found that some of these aches and pains that you had before, have they cleared up for the most part?
Most of them, yes. Only little remaining little thingy that seems to be just, again, me overusing it is my left elbow. And I'm left-handed. So it has maybe nothing to do with training and just me with doing much more, you know, without thinking. I'm just doing much more thing with my left hand. So there is much less time to recover with my left elbow. It seems totally weird as a concept, but I have actually heard some arm wrestler talk about it. It's like they come by, they're right-handed. And so they come, they start arm wrestling and they're extra strong with their right hand. But with time, actually, they found that they're actually much better with their left hand with some practice because this one takes much more time to recover. And why? Because they brush their teeth, they write, they eat with this hand. So this arm takes much more time to recover. And so it is also easier to injure it, not like big injury, but just like nagging pains, right?
Yes.
And I do believe that what is happening to my left elbow is exactly the same because I'm not doing anything crazy at the moment. Yeah, exactly.
And that's interesting because your arms have tapped into the 18-inch territory. Do you have one of those upper body days where it's an arm specific day? Like, how do you prioritize your arms on an upper body day specifically? The viewers might be curious about this one.
But that's the thing. I don't feel like I'm really prioritizing them.
Okay.
What I do on my upper is that there is one upper where it's mostly machines. So I will do my presses and I will bicep them with rows, machine press. So it will be mostly delt or inclined. Then I will do a more chest centric. And as I go into the chest centric press, it will be medium grip or close grip. So there is kind of a large triceps involvement. And as I do this, I will stop doing back because my back back is a very strong point. So I don't need that much volume and intention when I'm doing it. And I'm so strong already because now I have gym pins. And so on my machine row, I can do with 8 plates. And so 8 plates row, if you do 3 sets, you're done. You don't need like 5 sets. And so I go with my curls, but like heavy curls, like hammer curls, you know, fat grips and everything. Like it needs to be heavy, like 65, 70 pounds. Okay. And then I go with more arm stuff, but like cable. And then I do my lateral and rear delt isolation. And then I do some forearm. And so I think it's just me doing like big compounds, then going into that arm stuff I absolutely want. Then, because I'm not lazy, I'm going to do my delts, which are also a strong point. So I do not need that much focus and energy onto them. By the way, I'm already doing like the whole stack on the lateral raises machine. So it's not like I can do much more. I'm just increasing the reps and the control and everything. And then I do forearms because forearms work complement arms training. But if I do forearms before my delt, then I'm crippled. I'm like that, and I can do anything, right?
Oh, interesting.
So
Right.
that's how I do it. There is not a real arm focus in the sense that I do arms isolation and then the compounds and then I finish with whatever, right? Could be the next step. Like if I decide that I want 19 inches arm,
but
who knows? I never tried that.
You know what's interesting? I think if you're continuing to progress, like for example, let's say you do your compound press, your compound pull, and then you go into your arms, if it's going to be structured like that. Okay, well, if the arms are still progressing after your compound press and compound pull, is it really necessary to put your arms first in the workout and then have your pressing and pull suffer? I mean, you're still progressing on the arms.
As we say in French, that we're saying is like tu ne changes pas une équipe qui gagne, which means you are not changing a team who is winning or a recipe or anything for that matter. So if my training is working and I'm seeing results, there is absolutely no reason for me to change anything.
Right.
Until it stops working. Because as we say, or at least I'm saying it quite a lot, you know, because some people kind of miss the point. It's like everything works until it doesn't. Everything works. Oh, should I train my this muscle 3 or 4 times a week? You do whatever you want. It will work until it doesn't. And when it stops working, then you change. That's it.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I think people think that they want to jump to these things where it's like, if I want to prioritize arms and get them bigger, first off, is it lagging or is it just something you want to do just for fun? Because there's 2 different things. And also, just by putting them first in the workout, like, is that really necessary? Like we just spoke about, you don't necessarily have to do that if they're continuing to progress after your main compound lifts. And if they aren't, and you want to prioritize them, well, maybe just chop down the amount of compound lifts before you hit arms. Maybe that's the option first versus, well, let me do them freshest, or let me have an arm day where you do 16 different arm exercises. Like, no, that's probably not necessary for you if you're listening.
It depends on so many factors. It's not like, oh, I'm torso dominant, you know, so no, it's not torso dominant, bro. If you're torso dominant, you don't do chest centric work. You do close grip work. Close grip presses. If you're torso dominant or whatever, there is much more elbow flexion and extension. So your arms have to work. And if you're doing some rows, well, on your rows, it's really hard to bias the arm. I concede. But you can do neutral grip weighted chin up and you can just doing them wrong, which is what I do. What I do is I'm like that. And instead of like pulling myself like in a very normal way, what I do is like I do this. It's not a good form, right? But guess what? It's all arms. And there is some low traps and some lats involvement, obviously. But that's how I do it. And when it's time to do my pull-up for back, I go extra wide grip. And all I do is this. Nothing is moving. My elbow, I'm not moving. I'm just doing that with my shoulder blade, right? And then it's purely back. So it's always tools for the job. What tools do you need for what job? That's it.
That's interesting, actually, because if I go into the gym, I can make a pull down feel like an arm exercise, but with the help of some other muscles. So like meaning like my back musculature / shoulder musculature, like it's what do you want out of this? And you don't necessarily have to, like we just said, jump to, oh, let me just put isolated arm work first in the workout and then follow up with my compound list, because that order for most people is going to be problematic. That's my opinion. Of course, I've seen it not work out so well from a performance standpoint. Like you're not going to see as much performance on the ladder work. So it's almost like, why is that even there? Whereas if you just did the compounds first and then followed up with the arms, but minimize the volume like we just spoke about, or the execution, that might be the superior method if you are following something like an upper lower split or even full body, right?
Totally. I do believe that the huge problem is that too many people are not taking in the time and do not understand that they are just too weak, do not have the capacity to do it. If you were in a video game and I would tell you that all this stuff that you just talked about needs you to be a level 20 and you're level 12, you would not ask the question, be like, okay, well, let me farm and upgrade and go to level 20. But right now we have some guys that are barely late beginners or early intermediate and they're trying to do that. But if it's working for other guys, it's because they can do some bench press with 3 plates for reps. That's why it's working for them and not for you, because because your bench press is like two plate for like 5 reps, right? You can't make the same thing works. And same thing with squats. I would say that those people just need to put in the work and then understand how their body react to some kind of level of volume and intensity and how well they recover from it. And then they can make a decision, or they hire a coach, someone who has already done that. But to bounce back on what you just said, those presses in a row, volume wise, I'm just doing 2 sets.
Yeah. So there you
Just
go.
2 sets. And those press are pretty medium grip. So when I'm doing my shoulder like on the machine, my arms are right there. That means that my elbow has to do all this range of motion. So I have a lot of triceps despite the fact being a shoulder press. And on the incline machine, it's a hammer machine. I never felt comfortable with a wide grip. So I do pretty medium. I'm right there. And I do this. It's literally a close grip incline press. And I do that with 4 plates per side, which is basically my own body weight. So if people like the practical example, if you can do incline machine press with 4 plates each side for reps, you're too weak to make this work. And when I'm done with all of that, so just 2 sets there, 2 sets there, 2 sets there, then I go into the isolation. And even isolation wise, I bust my ass and there is just 6 sets, 2 exercise, 3 sets each, nothing more. I am not at level anymore. And I do not think that actually doing like 3 exercise or 4 exercise with a lot of sets is beneficial. Or if you do that, you need to have some kind of split, which is extremely optimized to have a maximum frequency, maximum volume, and with a manageable intensity, as we could say. And I am not ready to give myself a headache for like a quarter of an inch on my arms. I'm not ready just yet for that. That's why I'm not doing it.